recording. Hello everyone. I don't really know how to start this, so let's just jump in. Our story today begins with King Ramses. King Ramses had two sons. The first was named Setna, and he had another son named Anhihur-Aru. Setna was a very powerful magician and a very talented scribe, very well versed in the ancient writings. And he was obsessed with studying magic. And in his obsession, Setna was able to track the Book of Sauce to the tomb of a man called Naniver-Kapta. So, Setna took his brother Anhihur-Aru and went to the tomb of Naniver-Kapta in Memphis. And once they broke into the tomb, they found the body of Naniver-Kapta, and then they found the ghost of Naniver-Kapta and his wife Ahura and their little son Merib. All were seated before the offerings to Naniver-Kapta. And between Naniver-Kapta and his wife laid the Book of Sauce. So, Naniver-Kapta, or the ghost of Naniver-Kapta now, asked Setna, "Who are you to break into my tomb in such a manner?" So Setna told him, "I am Setna, son of the great king Uzur-Mitra," which is Ramses II. No, it was not the second, it was Ramses, one of the Ramseses. I don't know which one. Anyway, Naniver-Kapta asked Setna again, "And what brings you into my tomb?" So Setna told him that he wanted the Book of Sauce that lay between them. So Ahura told Setna, "Do not take this book, for it shall bring you trouble. Listen to my story and to how much trouble that book put us through." So she begins to tell Setna the story of Naniver-Kapta. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is storyception here. I'm telling you a story inside a story inside a story. And we're gonna get another layer deeper in a bit. Anyway, Naniver-Kapta was himself a very powerful scribe and a very powerful magician, much like Setna. And one day, while he was studying the writings in the catacombs of Egypt, he walked past a priest, and the priest watched him while he was reading the writings in the walls. And the priest laughed at him. So Naniver-Kapta turned to the priest and asked him, "Why are you laughing at me?" The priest told him he's not laughing at him. If anything, he was laughing at what he was doing. So Naniver-Kapta asked him again, "Why are you laughing at what I'm doing?" The priest told him, "If you really wanted to learn some powerful magic, I can tell you about a book written by the god Sauce himself. A book that if you read one page from it, you can enchant the heavens and the earth. You can learn the language of the birds and the animals and all things that crawl on the earth. If you read another page, you'll be able to see the sun in the sky and the gods with it. And if you read another page, you will be able to learn all that dwells in the deep and be able to command it to rise up to you. And in another page, if you were in the world of the dead, you can take the form you had when you were alive and come back to the world of the living." So Naniver-Kapta told the priest that, "By the life of the king, tell me where that book is and where can I get it?" So the priest told Naniver-Kapta, "If you wish to know where the book is, you need to put 100 silver toward my funeral and make sure that I may be buried as a rich priest." Ancient Egyptian had very little care for life. They only cared about death. So the priest asked him for something for his death. I guess that's something they have in common with modern day Egyptians. Whatever. Anyway, Naniver-Kapta agreed to the priest's request. So the priest told Naniver-Kapta that there is an island in the river of Coptus. And in that island, in the middle of that island, there is a box, an iron box. Inside that iron box, there is a bronze box. And inside the bronze box is a sycamore box. And inside the sycamore box is an ivory box. Inside the ivory box is a silver box. And inside the silver box is a golden box. And in that box, there lays a book of sauce. But be warned, for this box is guarded by snakes and scorpions and all crawling things. And there is an immortal snake that guards it. And so, Naniver-Kapta agreed. And he went to the king and told him all that happened and requested to be given the royal boat. And so, the king agreed and gave him the royal boat. So Naniver-Kapta took his wife and his son Merib and went to Coptus. And once he went to Coptus, after spending some time in the temple of Isis, doing some offerings and some prayers, and preparing a house for his son Merib and his wife Ahura to wait for him in, he went with the priest of Isis and created a cabin full of men and cast a spell on them, bringing them to life. So basically he made statues of men and then made the statues come to life. After casting the spell, he took his men and went on a boat and traveled to the island in the middle of the river. And in there, he indeed found the island full of snakes and scorpions and all crawling things. So he cast a spell on the snakes and the scorpions to prevent them from harming him. And then he went to the island. And in there he met the immortal snake and fought with it. Insert epic battle here. Naniver-Kapta won against the snake and killed it. But this is a deathless snake, an immortal snake that does not die. So it came back to life and it took a different form. So he killed it again. So it came back to life again and took a different form. So he killed it again. And this went on. Every time Naniver-Kapta kills the snake, it comes back to life. So Naniver-Kapta had an idea. He killed the snake and cut its body and then put sands in its body to prevent it from coming back. And it worked. So he went to the box and he opened the iron box and opened the bronze box and opened the ivory box and silver box and so on until he opened the golden box, and inside that he found the book of sauce. Naniver-Kapta read the book, and when he did, he enchanted the heavens and the earth, the abyss, the mountains and the sea. He knew the language of the birds in the sky and the fishes of the deep and the beasts of the hill. And he saw the sun shining in the sky and saw the gods with it and the full moon and the stars in all the shapes. He saw the fishes of the deep, of the abyss, for a divine power was present that brought them from the water. And then Naniver-Kapta casted a spell on his men and made them work for him once again and take him back to the temple of Isis, where his wife Ahura was waiting for him on the shore. And once he went there, he made Ahura read the book as well. And when she did, she also enchanted the heavens and the earth and knew the languages of the birds and the animals and all the things that dwelt in the deep. And then he took his wife and son and decided to go back to Memphis, to his king, to tell him of everything that happened. But Sos, when he saw that Naniver-Kapta killed his guardian and stole his book, he complained to the god Ra. And he told Ra, Naniver-Kapta, son of the king, killed my guardian and stole my book. So Ra told him, you have Naniver-Kapta and his kin, do with them what you will. And so, on their way back to Memphis, the little boy Merib fell from the boat and drowned. And Nanavir-ka-Ptah rushed to him, and he cast a spell on him to rise from the deep. And he did, for a divine power brought him from the deep to the surface of the water. And then he cast another spell on the body of the boy Merib, and asked him, "What happened to you?" So Merib told him of what happened to him, and of what Thoth told Ra. And so, saddened and full of guilt, Nanavir-ka-Ptah took his little son to Coptos and buried him. And then, on his way again to the king, his wife Ahura fell into the water and drowned as well. So he did the same thing again. He cast a spell to raise her from the deep and asked her what happened. And she told him of what happened to her and of the words that Thoth told to Ra. And then he went back to Coptos and he buried his wife Ahura. And full of guilt and unsure of what to say to his father the king, and how he got his daughter and son killed, or grandson in this case, how he got his daughter and grandson killed, Nanavir-ka-Ptah rowed his boat to the same place that Merib and his wife died, and then he tied the book of Thoth with a loincloth to his body and jumped off the boat and drowned as well. And then the ghost of Ahura went to the king in Memphis and told him of all things that happened. And the king wept, and his priests wept, for Nanavir-ka-Ptah was a very talented scribe, and it was a huge loss to them. And then the king ordered for them to bring his son and bury him in Memphis. And then the ghost of Ahura turns to Setna and tells him, "Now that you know all the misfortunes that befell us because of that book, do you still want to have it?" Setna was a stubborn little dude. He didn't know when to give up, and he didn't know what he was fighting up against. So he told the ghost of Ahura and the ghost of Nanavir-ka-Ptah, which, may I remind you, had both already read the book of Thoth, so they are both much more powerful than him, that if they didn't give him the book willingly, he would take the book by force. So Nanavir-ka-Ptah rose from his throne, from his seat, and looked upon Setna and told him, "Do you think you can take this book with your skills as a scribe? I will challenge you to a game, and if you win the game, you can take the book." And so he challenged him to a game that's similar to chess, except not really. I'll put a picture of it here, this game. Anyway, we can call it Egyptian chess. And so Setna agreed, and he played with Nanavir-ka-Ptah, but he lost the first round. And Nanavir-ka-Ptah cast a spell upon him and made the earth swallow him up to his ankles, or above his feet. And then they played the second round, and once again Setna lost again. So Nanavir-ka-Ptah cast a spell upon him and made the earth swallow him up to his knees. And this went on, and Setna lost and lost again, until the earth swallowed him entirely up to his neck. And so Setna quickly asked his brother to return to the king and to bring him his magic book and the talisman of his father Ptah. So his brother Anhihur-Uru did just that. He went to his father and told him everything that happened, and his father sent with him the magic book and the talisman of the god Ptah. When Setna's brother went into the tomb, and Setna was able to use the talisman of Ptah to free himself, and he took the book and ran away from the tomb, and went to his father, the king, Ramses, and told him everything that happened to him. So King Ramses was furious at him, and told him, return the book to the Nanavar Ptah like a prudent man, and don't be foolish, or great misfortune will befall you. But we already discussed how stubborn Setna is, so obviously he didn't listen to his father. He read the book. Not only that, he spent all his days telling everybody about the book. And then one day, Setna came across a beautiful girl, daughter of the priest of past, and the girl bewitched him. And he tried to seduce her, or he thought that he was trying to seduce her, but in fact, he was the one who was bewitched. The girl got Setna to give her all his possessions, and made him kill his own children. And then she screamed in his face and disappeared. And Setna awoke from his haze. He found himself alone and with nothing on him, not even his clothes. And so he ran to Memphis to his children to make sure they were alive. And they were. So he ran to his father, the king, and told him everything that happened. And his father asked him if he was drunk when he did that. And Setna told him he was not. And so King Ramses was able to connect the dots and turned to Setna and told him, I told you to return the book, but you didn't listen. But this time was different. For this time, Setna finally listened. It was an illusion this time, but maybe next time it wouldn't be so. So he returned to the tomb of Nanavar Ptah, and he returned the book. And Nanavar Ptah told him that the only reason that he survived was that the god Ptah protected him. And that if it was not for the protection of the god Ptah, that he would have died. And then Nanavar Ptah told Setna that if he wished for Nanavar Ptah to forgive him, that he should go to Coptus to find the bodies of his wife and child and bring them to his tomb to be buried with him. And Setna did so. And he returned the Book of Sauce to Nanavar Ptah. And this is the end of our story. I hope you enjoyed the story. This is my first video. This is obviously the inspiration for a lot of things in my novel, The Spirit of Gaia. And there's gonna be another video, the discussion video, in which I'm going to discuss different things about this story, different details, different things, and I hope you like it.